وإنه على ذلك لشهيد وإنه لحب الخير لشديد أفلا يعلم إذا بعثر ما في القبور وحصل ما في الصدور إن ربهم بهم يومئذ لخبير. صدق الله العظيم. As we mentioned earlier, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran Kareem, in different ways, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala كذلك نصرف الآيات, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in different ways, in verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tries to explain certain values that we as human beings should have, certain things that we as human beings must believe in. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at times uses certain examples. The unique thing about the Quran Kareem, the examples of the Quran, that in general all human beings from all different walks of life would be able to relate to these examples. That the Quran Kareem doesn't use very difficult terminology, that the Quran Kareem doesn't use things which are very specific to only one place, that the people who are perhaps non-Arab, they would not understand, but very general things. Things which as human beings everyone can and should generally, they can relate to and they can understand. Right? So this is one of the unique things of the Quran Kareem, rather. That it's not only for a certain fraternity, the only people who can understand at a certain level, that they have very high IQ, they have the highest level of intellect, that they have to be a rocket scientist or something to understand these. No. The point is that everyone can be able to understand and relate to it. And that is actually the ethos of our deen in general. In general, the deen of Islam is supposed to be samha, easy. Things which are very easily anyone can do anywhere, anytime. Let's just take one example, something which is also pertinent to this month, moon sighting, right? So moon sighting, what's one hikmah behind it, one wisdom, leaving any other discussion of that. One wisdom behind it is anyone, anywhere can be able to tell what the month is, right? That's what one of the hikmah of the lunar year is. That you look up into the sky, you see there's a crescent, okay, the new month is starting. And you continue like that. So that is also another hikmah, a wisdom behind why the Islam or the Arab, they used the lunar calendar. So over here in this verse, in this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala draws a parable between human beings and steeds or chargers, horses, right? War horses. Now over here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is drawing a very unique example between the two. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this surah is saying that you have these war horses, right? These war horses, you feed them for a few days. This isn't your food, right? You just bring food to them. This is the rizq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You just are a mere means in between. You're like the middleman in between, that you give them some food. Then when it is time for war, because of you feeding them, these war horses are so indebted to you, so to say, that they are ready to sacrifice their life for your sake. What does a horse need to do with the war? The horse doesn't even know what war is going on, why two people are fighting. But what the horse does see, that my owner is on my back and it's commanding me to charge forward. And it sees that there is imminent death also, and that death is facing me. Despite that, it still goes forward. Why? Because it has qadr and shukr and gratefulness for that food, that little food that you gave to it. So over here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is drawing that parable, a similitude, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one that created you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that feeds you, وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He doesn't ask you to throw yourself into the face of death even. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's commands that come to you, those things which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited from you, how much more should you listen to the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This horse which isn't a human being, which doesn't have intellect like a human, it has this much shukr and gratitude in it, it has this much sense in it, that my master that has fed me, it doesn't behoove me that I do not listen to his command, that I go, whatever the master is saying, my rider is saying, that I will do so. So imagine how we should serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this surah is drawing this comparison between the two. That وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبْهَا. Al-Adiyat refer to those steeds, those chargers, those horses that run very fast. وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبْحًا, that they are running panting, meaning to show that they're not lazy in it. Like how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has drawn the example of the munafiqun when they stand up for salah, قَامُوا كُسَالًا, they stand up very lazily. So when the horse is commanded to go forward, it doesn't just trot, no, it goes very fast, such that it starts panting, the horse starts panting. وَالْعَادِيَاتِ ضَبْحًا, so it shows that there is zeal in fulfilling the command of the Master. That is what we need to bring into ourselves. Zeal in doing what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command is. Zeal in staying away from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's prohibition is. Not just, as we mentioned before, that, oh yeah, I am Muslim, this is just something we do, yeah, it's a little hard, but whatever, just pull it, suck it up, or no. This is what we believe in. I want to do this. رَضِيتُ بِاللَّهِ رَبَّا. Many times we mentioned this hadith. رَضِيتُ بِاللَّهِ رَبَّا. I am happy with Allah as my Rabb. وَبِالْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا, with Islam as my deen. وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا, and as Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم, Muhammad al-Mustafa, as our Prophet, يعني his sunnah, that we are happy with it, something we're proud about. فالموريات قدحا, and how fast are they running? That they're running they're galloping so fast that there is sparks even being flown. فالموريات قدحا, that they strike sparks. Again, this also shows that they are ready to fulfill whatever command that is. فَالْمُغِيرَاتِ صُبْحًا, that usually what happens is that they would attack in the morning. So over here it's saying فَالْمُغِيرَاتِ صُبْحًا, and by the riders raiding at the break of dawn. فَأَثَرْنَ بِهِ نَقْعًا, stirring up therewith a cloud of dust. Meaning in the morning usually there isn't dust flying around, but the only time it would fly around is if these horses are running that fast. So 4 ayat Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so to say, is drawing the scene for us that how these horses serve their master. With complete zeal, they are serving their master. فَأَثَرْنَ بِهِ نَقْعًا, and what's in it for them? Why are they running forward? Why are they charging forward? Do they have food waiting for them on the other side? Is there something else that is very that is appealing to them? No. فَوَسَطْنَ بِهِ جَمْعًا, then piercing into the midst of a gathered host, into the battle, into the other army. فَوَسَطْنَ بِهِ جَمْعًا, they go directly into the middle. Then after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now said that after the scene is set, that this is how a horse follows your command, that also a creation of Allah, that you feed it the food, the rizq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It serves you in this manner. Now, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لِرَبِّهِ لَكَنُودٌ, that indeed man to his Lord is most surely ungrateful. إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لِرَبِّهِ لَكَنُودٌ, the most surely human being, man, is ungrateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When tafsir of lakanud, kanud has been done as that whenever any masa'ib, any difficulty face, a person remembers that. But whenever there is a ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the person forgets that. All these days that a person, for example, was being fed 3 times a meal he's eating, one day there is some difference in the schedule, now he starts complaining. That for so many days a person was enjoying the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ni'mah of sihha, of health. Then one day a person gets a little flu, now he's starting to complain. Why is this happening to me, etc. So this is the nature of many human beings. That in the insan bihi lakanud, that one tafsir of kanud has been done as that when masa'ib, difficulty come, then that person holds on to that and remembers that and thinks about that, and he forgets all the ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Other tafsir of kanud have also been done. وَإِنَّهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ لَشَهِيدٌ, that indeed he is, thereafter Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the next ayah, إِنَّهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ لَشَهِيدٌ, that indeed to this he himself is most surely a witness. That it's not that a person doesn't even know about this. No, we as human beings, a person realizes this also. Or another tafsir is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is witness over this. إِنَّهُ, the who referring to either Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or a person himself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obviously He knows what a person what is going through our minds, and the tafsir is that a person himself knows this, that he knows that Allah subhanahu, it's nothing that we don't know about this, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us food, that we are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's servants, and that we are to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Despite us knowing this, we still are ungrateful to the ni'am of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another tafsir of kanud that has been done is that a person doesn't fulfill the ni'mah of the one who has given. The one that has given him the ni'mah, a person holds on to that ni'mah. A person holds on to that ni'mah, but he forgets who gave it to him. And the third tafsir that has been done of qanud is that person uses the ni'mah of the mun'im in the wrong place. The ni'mah, the blessing of the one who has given the blessing. The blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given a person sight. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the vision and hearing. All these ni'am that we have, water, etc. Whatever blessings that we count, that is what obviously from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To use that in the wrong avenue, to use that against the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's another form of showing ingratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's a third tafsir of qanud. And thereafter Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we as human beings are also witnesses and testimony to this, that we know this. وَإِنَّهُ, this is one evil quality that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned that men have. Number two, وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٌ. Another thing that turns a person away from this is what? Again, hub and love of wealth. That indeed in his love of worldly good, he is most surely fierce. Not that he just loves wealth, but fiercely loves it. وَإِنَّهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ وَإِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٌ. Shadid means he's madly in love. Madly in love meaning that he doesn't look what is permissible, what is impermissible, how I'm earning, where I'm spending. A person doesn't look into all of that. All that a person is looking at is that the more wealth I gather, and the more, however I want to spend my wealth, I will spend it that way. That is إِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ لَشَدِيدٌ. Over here in the Quran Kareem, because the Arab used to call mal, wealth, khair. They used to refer to wealth as khair, goodness. So the Quran Kareem has used that same terminology of the Arab. إِنَّهُ لِحُبِّ الْخَيْرِ. A person is shadid, is very fierce in his love of this wealth. As long as a person, as we mentioned many times, gives the wajibat, the mandatory alms, etc. that has to be given, then a person will not fall under this ayah. Thereafter Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we've been seeing the trend, again Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings us back to the objective. أَفَلَا يَعْلَمُ إِذَا بُعْثِرَ مَا فِي الْقُبُورِ. That it boils down to all this. That all this that you are running behind wealth in this world and you are ungrateful. Imam Nawawi rahimahullah in his introduction to the Riyadh al-Salihin, he gives a very beautiful example of wealth in this world. That he draws a parable between an ocean and this world. That the sea, and we are like boats or ships upon on the sea. That a person, as long as his ship is on top of the sea, then he is okay, right? This water that the ship is flowing on top of, it is beneficial, it's rather necessary for the ship to move forward, right? But if this person says that this water is so beneficial for the ship, why don't we just bring this water into the ship? Right? Let's bring the water into the ship. Immediately if a person does that, what happens to the ship now? It'll sink, right? The same thing which was beneficial for the ship, it was beneficial when? As long as it's outside, and as long as the ship is on top of it and it's moving. As soon as that water comes inside, now the same water becomes a means of destruction for the ship. So like that, wealth and dunya and hub of this world, as long as it's outside, as long as we're using it, it's in our hands, no problem. It comes in your hands, you use it where you need to use it, it's fine. But as soon as that mahabbah, that love penetrates the heart, now the same wealth becomes as a means of destruction for a person's life. So now the wealth now starts controlling a person. أَفَلَا يَعْلَمُ إِذَا بُعْثِرَ مَا فِي الْقُبُورِ. Does he not then know that when all that is in their graves is unearthed, yani when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring everyone back to life, that there is a day that this will also happen, that all those treasures that you had gathered, that will be done with. What will stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Only you and Allah. لَيْسَ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ عَبْدِهِ تَرْجُمَانٍ. There won't be any translator also between Allah and his bondsmen. أَفَلَا يَعْلَمُ إِذَا بُعْثِرَ مَا فِي الْقُبُورِ وَحُصِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. That at that day can a person use whatever they want, the tricks and trades, a person can say whatever they want? No. And all that is harbored within the breast of people is collected. Yani what is in the heart, that is that will come. What is in the heart, that a person, that truth will be revealed. إِذَا وَحُصِّلَ مَا فِي الصُّدُورِ إِنَّ رَبَّهُمْ بِهِمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ لَخَبِيرٌ. Indeed, their Lord on that day will most surely be all aware of them. Is it not that in this world Allah is also all aware? Yes, even in this world. But on that day, as ulama mentioned, that's ilmu dhuhur. That this ilm, it will become apparent also. right? That everyone also see that what the truth is. We make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that whatever faults that we have, that as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has covered our faults in this world, that even at the Day of Judgment Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala covers those faults. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives and pardons those faults. The tafsir of the afu, one of the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is afu. One explanation of what afu means is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wipes it in such a way that there is no even recollection of it, that even the malaika that have been appointed, even they don't know about it. So we make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does from His sifa of afu, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pardons us. Wa akhiru da'wan alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.